We're coming to you live from right outside Lambeau Field. A great, beautiful day here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Expect the same on Sunday. And Dave and myself are here to preview that Lambeau home opener with the Saints that come marching in. The biggest challenge for the Packers here today with this third game. And all I'm hopeful for on Sunday, besides a victory, Dave, before we kick this thing off, is that number one, we're going to be loud at Lambeau so Matt LaFleur can focus on play calling and not playing cheerleader on the sideline. And then number two, my only other request is to have the introductions for the players be on offense so we can hear the reception that Jordan Love gets in his first game as a starter at Lambeau. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and open up this tab. Dave, I don't have a drink on me today, but you'll have to carry us in that department. And cheers, bro.
Yeah, man. Hey, you just already so excited. You just decided to get there Friday afternoon. You're just gonna tailgate till Sunday afternoon.
If I was good enough with my camera, I'd flip it around to show the tent that I'm staying in. Here in the parking lot. Hopefully they don't kick me out here, but yeah, we'll be at this game, and you'll be here in just a few days. Well,
Yeah.
Very quick turnaround. I know the players probably had to taper off practice to some extent this week, and we probably have to do the same thing with our show and drinking to make sure that we're.
I was gonna say I'm gonna have to taper off my drinking.
all cylinders a go come Thursday.
Yeah, you hope it's rowdy. You hope they're kind of what is it? Offense at work is the stuff they've been putting on the scoreboard with Jordan Love hushing the crowd on offense. So hopefully we're nice and quiet on offense and we're rowdy on defense. But it's the Green Bay crowd. Sometimes we flip and flop on that one. So, but yeah, you would hope that Love gets all the support and cheers that he's earned and should command respect for as the franchise quarterback going into week one. I'm excited for him to run out that tunnel like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers has done in the past, that long line of Packer players, and he just shoots through the alley with his hands reached out, giving all the players high fives and whatnot. So it's looking like it's going to be a picture-perfect day, though, weather-wise for the game.
And you've already gotten sign-offs from Brett Favre had a tweet in week one wishing Jordan Love well and success in his career. I think that's a great endorsement that Favre's supporting him and he believes in him. And then even more recently this week that the Packers came out with a video with Sherry Starr, Bart Starr's wife, congratulating Jordan Love and wishing him all the best in his career. That speaks volumes that they're bringing Jordan Love into the Packer family and that you're getting the greats that are acknowledging you and that they have full faith in number 10.
They're not tearing down Lambeau behind you, are they?
I hope not, but every day there's some sort of new construction. You see, this little construction job that they had going on. Titletown District, they just broke ground on the new fitness center that should be here by the time the draft comes. So I don't know. I still don't know where they're going to put the draft, but that's a whole different episode for a whole different day. Dave, the Saints are marching in. Do you want to start this thing on offense or defense for keys to the games, where our strengths, where our weaknesses, as this is the biggest measuring test before next week. And I would not want to start 1 and 2 going into Thursday night.
No, you got to win this one. You got to win this one because the Lions are going to be a force, and short week, and this is kind of like a get back on track game. We could start on defense. I think the Saints have a pretty good idea based on last week where they want to attack us. And I think going forward, every offense is going to know how to attack us. It's going to be whether or not we can adjust and guys can actually make plays now. Bright side is, good and bad. I'm a big Jamal Williams fan. Jamal Williams is going to be out this week. So they're kind of down one guy that's on their two-headed monster in terms of the run game. And then they have Derek Carr and they have Taysom Hill. And Taysom Hill is still their wildcat / gadget player that the Packers let go years and years ago. Derek Carr hasn't really impressed me all that much this year. They're kind of in a dogfight again this week with the Panthers. And the funny thing is, the last 2 weeks, our upcoming or our last opponent, or sorry, how do I want to word this? The opponent we faced the team that we're facing the week after. So there's like for like tape on them.
I was about to say, like, our defense didn't do as well as the Panthers did against the Falcons. I'm like, all right, we got 8 first-round draft picks. I know they had Brian Burns and a couple other players. And they had 7 wins last year. And then they held the Saints in check through the whole game, just like they did the Falcons, and corralled up their run game, limited Derek Carr, had an interception on him. I'm like, our defense has to do better than this Panthers one that we're coming into. And it would be pretty cool. I know that Jamal Williams, when he's returned to Lambeau, also another fan favorite of mine too. He likes to throw the football around and into the crowd. So let's hope that hamstring injury doesn't prevent him from having a little fun with the fan base. Also, having the handshakes and the hugs with the players. Jamal Williams is an all-time Packer with his dances and just positive mood that he brought along. Dave, you brought this up before the show that your wife called it out last game with Rashawn Gary and crashing too hard, and why that Ritter, who's supposed to be a pocket passer, is scrambling for yards and getting a touchdown on the ground. If your wife sees it, Dave, are you thinking that it's that blatantly obvious the way that the Saints and these future teams are going to attack us here moving forward?
So I think it was a one-off. I think no one in the building expected him to kind of pull that out, and he, pulled it in and he took off, and it just had Gary completely off base. I don't really see Derek Carr doing all that much of it. Now, Taysom Hill's a different story. Taysom Hill would do that in a heartbeat. You just gotta be kind of assignment sound, do your P's and Q's. And man, I have a question for you, because I've been going back and forth on this, because we're on year 2 or 3 now of the Barry experiment. Certain point it has to give, right? Either the talent that we have on this defense, whether it's, you have 8 first-round picks, right? So it's either Gutekunst is whiffing and the talent isn't there, which there's an argument that the talent is actually there, or it's complete inept coaching / play calling and scheme fit for the players that we have. And I'm going back and forth on this. Now, obviously, Jair's an absolute talent. Gary's an absolute talent. There are stars on this field that other teams would take in a heartbeat. But overall, they're not meshing, or it's coaching, or whatever. Where are you lying on this? Are you man, that we have all these first-round picks, but maybe they're not first-round talent? Or is it, man, these coaches are just not using these guys?
Yeah, we talked about that earlier this week too. And this is the debate of, is it X's and O's or is it Jimmy's and Joe's?
Yeah.
I'm going to waver on this one. I mean, I don't know how much time we have today. We could talk ourselves blue in the face about it.
I know.
I'm going to split somewhere down the middle. I think both parties or both sides are responsible. For one, there's things that Joe Barry could have done against the Falcons last Sunday. To where we're not up by 12 points and we know they're just going to run it down our throat. LaFleur brought it up this week. We can do things along the lines of, we can do run blitzes. Maybe we added extra defensive tackle in there. Whatever the case may be, Joe Barry has things that he can do to force them to pass the ball instead of just sitting back on our heels and just run after run. And another outside pitch play to Bijan, who I think is a talent like a LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yeah.
But there's things that I think, yes, he could do better with run blitzes. I didn't really see any of those against the Falcons. And then number 2 is, and we've talked about this throughout the draft, is I think we've got a lot of talent now on the defensive line, but they're much more heavy on the pass rush side than being a true run stuffer.
Right.
I'm gonna beat this horse to death, but outside of TJ Slayton, I don't know how great he is to hold up from the first quarter through the entirety of the game. We need that BJ Raji. We need that Gilbert Brown.
Johnny
we need more
Jolly.
of those. Yeah, Johnny Jolly. We need more of those big defensive linemen who weigh 320 pounds to clog up the run and be able to take on 2 blocks. Carl Brooks is a great talent who can penetrate up the field, get pressure on the quarterback. Same with Colby Wooden and Devontae Wyatt. I don't want to call him a one-trick pony, but last week he definitely got pushed around against the Falcons. So I think it's both sides, but if I had to lean one way more than the other, I'm going Joe Barry.
My takeaway on that is if you're so good at rushing the passer and then defending the pass in the back end, just stack the box. That would be like simple math, right? Like, okay, our weak point is run, so we're going to just put more guys up there so that we actually have more guys to defend the run. And if you want to throw on it, we have the best secondary in the league. Go ahead, throw on us. But he's almost like afraid to utilize his best asset. He's like, oh God, don't want to get beat. Don't want him to throw the ball. We'll just have him run for 7 yards a carry.
Like put 8 in the box. Like trust Jair and Rasul on the outside with playing press. Savage and Ford, I think they've done a decent
Savage
job.
Has really stepped up.
Not allowing too many plays down the field. I know there was that one flea flicker that they stole from our first play from scrimmage.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'd have to say that you can probably point the finger more so at Joe Barry than Gutekunst whipping on these first-round draft picks. It's physicality. And I think week 1, you can chalk that up as that the Bears are the Bears still. They can't have nice things. And they're imploding now as we speak.
Yes.
That can make it feel a little bit better. But, yeah, it's I think there's things in Joe Barry's control up there in the press box. And, like, for this week specifically, what I want to see is let Jair play press. Let Rasul play press. Slant boy, Michael Thomas, is back from, like, a 2-year hiatus and 2-year injury. He is going to kill you over the middle of the field in these short routes. Like, we need to play up on him. Otherwise, like, I could see him having like 10 to 12 catches. Chris Olave is a problem that we have to deal with as well. Let our quarterbacks play physical. They have the talents to do it. I don't want to see another Jair playing 10 yards off the field like he was against Drake London last Sunday. That's my biggest ask for Sunday.
This will be also the best quarterback that they've faced through 3 weeks now. It's still early, but I mean, Derek Carr, if he gets rolling, could be a problem. Now, I know Derek Carr got shipped out of Oakland. Oakland had his problems with him. He had his problems with Oakland. I mean, he's not a guy who had made 5 starts, and he's not Justin Fields. It's going to be a sit-back pocket passer, so that's actually bodes well for us because maybe he's a little bit more of a stature. We could get home on the rush. The Saints don't have that particularly good of an offensive line in terms of like pass blocking, as far as I know. But he could kill you. He can slice and dice you. So he might not have the legs to escape, but he's gonna do the slants to Thomas. He's gonna wait. He's gonna buy time. He might hit you deep. Like they have to be sound. And you know they're gonna try to run it 25 times because clearly it shows success against Green Bay.
Contain Taysom Hill on the outside for those pitch plays. They're down 2 running backs. I'm glad Alvin Kamara is not playing because he's had our number every single time we face him. And Dave, do you recall last time that Derek Carr played at Lambeau? You were at that game in 2019 where he had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. So you saw Derek Carr play in person the last time. And his scouting report is this, like, and we'll have him on the show for the Raiders week, diehard Raiders fan, is that Derek Carr has all the talent in the world, but he curdles up once he gets in the red zone, and he will throw you red zone interceptions. So I expect the same thing to happen on Sunday, that he'll do a Kirk Cousins and throw us one gift, if not 2. And I have one of those going to Darnell Savage. And not to compare us back to the Panthers defense, but Panthers defense got after Desmond Ridder and had like 3.5 sacks. They got after Derek Carr on Sunday and had at least, I want to say 2, if not 3 sacks. I'm like thinking to myself, our pass rush has to be as good as the Panthers, if not better, for how many dogs that we have on it now. So, like Lucas Vaness, I thought took a step forward.
Yes.
In the game last week. Like, we only had 1 sack altogether on Desmond Ridder. We have to have more coming this Sunday to keep these guys in check and to come out on the right side.
So let's flip this over to the offense. Still a lot of key pieces that are up in the air. Bakhtiari looks like he's not going to play. Who knows when he will play again? I know he came out with his press release. He was pretty fired up about that.
Dave, what's your over under for how many games he'll play this year?
I don't want to dog him. All right, I don't want to put it there.
We'll leave it.
It's frustrating for everyone. It's frustrating for him. It's frustrating for the organization. It's frustrating for the fans. So he's going to be out.
Had to make a little light of it.
I know. Jenkins is going to be out. So your whole left side is just gone. Aaron Jones is still kind of up in the air. He's been practicing, but who knows how it's probably going to be a game time decision of, hey, how's it feeling today? And Watson's going to be the same case. I'm leaning towards Watson's probably going to be out, even though he went 2 days in practice, then had a rest day. I'm still thinking they're giving Watson another week. So we're going to roll out with what we had in Atlanta minus Jenkins. I would like to see kind of what they were doing with that play action boot to Musgrave. I would like to see that more integrated into the offense. Just get them easy targets. Do those, shallow crossers, double crossers, leak plays, hard bootlegs, and just check it down to the tight end and let him get you some easy yards. Big step here is I want to see that completion percentage up for Love. Like, keep doing what you're doing, but I want you to hit like 3 or 4 more throws.
So you do or you do not have Aaron Jones playing on Sunday?
I have him going, but I have it like 10 carries. I see it's a super light workload.
That's how many normally
we're fine.
Anyway.
I see it being like, hey, if we need a home run here, like, go. But I don't see them really – could be wrong, but I see them being extra cautious. They're like, hey, we still got 14 more games of this thing. Let's kind of make sure you're right.
So working in Musgrave – and somebody they asked this question on the floor this week. We're seeing the talent is there. We already have upgrades at both the positions of tight end and slot receiver compared to Tunyon and Cobb from last year. We're only 2 weeks into this thing. It also is good to keep in mind that they had brought up that, hey, these guys are rookies. Are we going to roll them out in the phases and sort of install them to the offense and not give them too much on their play? But I'm like, to me, they've handled it extremely well so far. I'm like, keep finding ways to get these guys the ball in their hand, especially Jayden Reed. Like, if Watson's going to be a no-go, we need to find ways to have him have at least 10 targets on Sunday, I would think. Because I will say the Saints' MO on defense is, and they got players at each of the 3 levels, they're only going to come at you with their front 4, and then they're going to drop 7.
Yeah.
So, like the Bears, not a ton of blitzing, but Cameron Jordan is a perennial Pro Bowl player that we have to account for. But to me, it's fine. I'm going to keep harping on it, but find ways to get Musgrave the ball out in the flat, and then other ways that Jayden Reed can get much more contributions from the offense.
This isn't it's not a heavy target system. It's a scheme the guy open system, so it's not, we don't really have a bona fide number one. It's kind of the old days of let's spread the ball around and we're going to have 9 different receivers come down with the ball today. I like that style. I think it spreads the defense thinner. I mean, Watson comes back, that's going to change this offense. I mean, you would like to dial up some plays for him and scheme him and do all that stuff. But I like what Love's doing. It's just like, okay, this reads open, I'm going to hit it. There's been no force feeding. There's no, hey, I'm only looking left and I'm going to throw it left because my favorite guy's over there. It's been, very tactical. I like it so far. Now, granted, that then falls on coaching. That falls on the floor to be like, I want Reed to be the number 1 option here, so I have to put him in the number 1 option. Musgrave is having a game. I want Musgrave to kind of continue this. I need to call a play that he is in the line of sight of Love on this progression. It seems like LaFleur all of a sudden gets too much of in his head from time to time and just kind of forgets about dudes.
He does. Yeah, excellent points. He wants to have a well-balanced offense. I think that's why Love is 6-0 for touchdowns interception ratio so far, because he's taken what the defense gives him. And it's worked out extremely well. At the same time, though, it's like, LaFleur, I know you have plays in your bag that you think to when we had Davante Adams, and I know Rodgers was force-feeding him at times, but there's plays designed for Davante Adams. I would think that there's at least 10 of them per game, and there's got to be ways that, find the open guy, but you need to feature some of those players like a Jayden Reed if you have your Christian Watson out.
My favorite play ever, and I want to see it again, and I think it would work great with like a Dobbs or Watson or a Reed and Watson, is when they're in Seattle and it was the playoff game, and they faked the slant flat, and then they both cut up field, and Devontae was just wide friggin' open. Do you remember that play where they faked kind of like that flat slant, and they both turned up field, and Devontae had his guy beat by probably 12 yards
to kick off the game?
I don't think it was to kick off the game. It was the playoff game against Seattle in
okay. So that would have been 2020. Yeah.
2019.
Yep. The one play that I remember that stands out from that game, and it was such a great play design. Is this where it was Devontae and Geronimo? I only got one hand here, but they both like kind of meet in the middle, 10 yards, and then they separate both their own two ways because they expected them to cross, but they didn't.
That's the exact play I was talking about, dude.
I was picturing a different game because I don't know. There's a lot of external noise going on around here. But the focus level is not on my Sunday game time. So I'm sorry.
What do we? All right. So if Jones is iffy or he's limited on touches,
what do we do in the ground game?
Yeah. What do we do?
Whew. Our blocking has to get better. Josh Myers with his reach blocks has to improve.
You're gonna have Royce Newman
with Bach out. You already think that's gonna be Royce, so then we're not switching up the line too much. We're gonna keep Tom at right.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's way too much musical chairs. I think if you try to bring Tom inside,
you go Newman. You go Newman, Royce Myers, JRJ, Tom.
AJ Dillon is finding his footing. Get him running north and south. I think the biggest thing is not having it out of shotgun, having these under center plays that he doesn't have to do a lot of thinking, and he can just find the hole and get to the second level as quickly as possible. These pitch plays to AJ Dillon, trash them. And if you see more of the same continues early on in this game, I know there was a calling from you for EJ Manuel last week to have a breakout game, then you're going to see it in this one against the Saints. They're going to have to turn to him in the second half if we have more of the same, because I don't think Patrick Taylor's going to do much damage compared to AJ Dillon and having that speed to do it. And I think you did see some glimpses from Emmanuel Wilson against the Falcons of being able to hit the hole in a little bit of a quicker fashion, getting upfield. So I think that's what it calls for. But Royce Newman at left guard worries the hell out of me, Dave. I'm not going to try to downplay that one.
Yeah, that's some worrying stuff. All right, let's roll into predictions real quick, and then we'll cap this sucker off.
Who's your first Lambeau leaper for the Packers 2023 season? Not first touchdown. They have to actually leap into the crowd.
Leap? Oh, shoot. I was gonna say if Jones plays Aaron Jones, but he might not want to leap into the crowd with a bad hamstring.
I don't want him to.
Jayden Reed.
Jayden Reed building off a 2-touchdown performance against the Falcons. And
I could see him having like an end of Watson type beginning of this season. I could see him having like a end of year Watson, beginning of Reed season for him.
On an absolute tear.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take with Watson out. That he's, I think, next to Dobbs, or even more so than Dobbs, because I think he brings a lot more to the table than him. My first Lambeau leaper of the season is going to be Jordan Love. Ooh. Aaron Rodgers had a rushing touchdown in his first start at Lambeau, and we already saw some throws that reminded us of Aaron Rodgers' first start, like that double pump fake, and then throw to touchdown for Dobbs' very first one against the Bears. And I think Love is going to go into the end zone and have a Lambeau leap, and a successful one too. I think he's going to show off his hops and get in there, twist around and be able to sit down on the end zone compared to like an AJ Dillon where you only get half your body up there. So Jordan Love's going to be my call for a Lambeau leaper first of the season.
I love having another good game too this week. I think he gets like 250, 2 touchdowns, another no interception game. I think he plays another clean game.
That's key to the victory. If he can stay clean here and we win the turnover battle, then I'd like to think that we're going to be up in the fourth quarter and have a shot to close this thing out. What about defense? I know we've done it the first 2 weeks.
I've been
You
right
have
the
an
first 2 weeks
Yeah.
on that, and I was gonna be so right on that score until we failed miserably. It was 24 points going into the fourth quarter. I said I have my 31 points here, and it was like it was 24
I
to
think
12, and I was like, I'm dead money here. We're gonna be good, and then
you
it was
you
just
you
collapsed.
you jinxed it
I
after that.
know,
After that,
I know.
after that happens, the Falcons were listening. Are like, well, we're going to introduce you to another healthy share of
Yeah,
Bijan
right.
Robinson, and force you to stop it. Yeah, your crystal ball has been proving true, or pretty damn close so far.
I
The
say,
Rasul, Quay Walker didn't, or he was the first to intercept Fields, but
yeah.
regardless, though. All right, so on defense, who's your INT going to?
I don't have an. I don't know about INT. I have something else for you. I have the Packers doing 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery.
Okay, I like that stat line even better.
I'm going instead of back end. I'm doing my my front. You know, D line and
Who's your
edge rushers.
Who's your forced fumble coming from? Do you want to go that far?
Whew, Enigbare.
Is he gonna do a hat trick like he did in the preseason?
Be crazy. I don't know who's going to.
Dave, I'm gonna buy a lottery ticket here.
We don't have. I don't have the recovery. I guess it's house money. All right, I got Enigbare forcing it. I got Van Ness recovering.
Okay, beautiful. I'm not, and I'll go with INT. Darnell Savage is getting his first interception of the season in the red zone.
Ooh, okay.
Yep. Red zone, INT. Score, this is a close one. I see this being a slugfest. They're down their top 2 running backs. They could barely put up points against the Panthers. I still don't think the Panthers' defense is that great. They had a tough time putting up points against them and the Titans. And their defense allowed its first touchdown of the season with like 2 minutes to go. They've almost went 2 for 2 without allowing a touchdown. So I see this one being as like a 20-17 Packers win late in the fourth quarter. That we get to 20 points, and then we stop them on defense when they're at 17 with like a game-winning drive on the line.
We've been scoring points, man. That's what I'm thinking. I still think it's close. I have 27-24.
27-24. Okay. Yeah, this is the best defense we're going to face. Watson and Jones being out, or Jones limited. I see it's going to be another tough way to put up points. And you got Tyrann Mathieu on the back end, Marshawn Lattimore, and their front 4, I think, is pretty good at getting after. Well, if he's going to face more pressure than what he has up until now. But all right, Dave is coming at you with 27-24. Packers win. I'm going 20-17. That means 2-1 for that Thursday night matchup against not the same old Lions.
I know.
Dave, anything else to close this out before we get ready for the home opener? That there's a lot of commotion going on in Lambeau right now, and them already getting set up for well over 48 hours left, if I have good math on me.
Man, just enjoy it. Enjoy the crowd. Enjoy being in Lambeau again for a regular season game. Love's first home start, man. You're witnessing history in the franchise. So just all good things, man. Send good vibes for us on this channel and for the rest of Pack Nation.
Will do. Dave, I'm going to try to get the wave going when we're on offense.
Perfect.
Is that okay? Is that okay with you?
I mean, I don't intentionally start it. I'm usually waving to like the beer guy, and it like just so happens to take off. So teach their own.
It is, yeah. Yeah, and to close this thing out, extremely excited for Sunday. Jordan Love's first start, and if history repeats itself, Dave, I'll leave us with this: is that I was also here for Rodgers' first career start at Lambeau against the Vikings in 2008, doing the same thing for Love's first start here at Lambeau. Let's go 2 for 2 and get a dub out of it.
All right, man. Well, good one to end on. Cheers, bud.
Still Sunday, Dave.
Yes, sir.